feel like you know it.
Morning.
Good
Welcome
morning.
to Walk the Dogcast, episode 7, with the one and only Matthew Mullins. Got the name right this week, so we're moving up in the world. Number 2 on the Spotify charts.
Oh my God, we're moving right on up. Good morning.
Who do
I
you,
hope
you know
you're
who
having
we're
a great
behind?
day. Do what?
You know who we are behind?
No idea.
No guess of top popular podcasts.
Is it the Doc Popcast or the one that Tyler Severance does?
I don't know that they still do any podcasts, but no, I thought you were gonna say Joe Rogan Experience, and I was gonna say no, it's the Kylie Kelsey.
Oh, that is probably over us. Yeah,
I don't know if she's still number one, but she came out hot.
that's
Uh,
fair.
all right, so today's topic, we have a topic today. We are professional podcasters, and we're going to get into it. It's sponsorships. We have uh, somebody that has been sponsored and then also sponsors other people, and we have somebody that's sponsored currently. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited to hear your takes on a lot of the old school stuff a little bit, but we'll get into that in a second. Have you ever seen the top? I forget what it's called right now. I'm drawing a blank, but I have 5 items for you, blind ranking. You're going to rank them 1 to 5. I give you one
Oh,
at a time. You don't know what else is coming,
oh
and you
no.
have to rank it and live with your ranking.
Okay.
Okay, so the category is chicken. Top
Okay.
5 blind ranking. Number 1 for you to rank fried chicken.
Number one.
Number 1, fried chicken.
Yeah.
Peace, love, chicken
I
grease.
can't imagine you saying anything else past this.
All
That's
right, all
going to
right.
make my wiener jump. Does that make sense?
What?
Never mind. Go ahead.
All I heard was wiener.
Yeah, that's
Number
fair.
2, chicken wings.
Number three.
All right, chicken wings number 3. So for me, back to the fried chicken. I'm not a fried chicken fan. Um,
Okay.
Chicken wings, okay.
Okay.
Number 3, rotisserie chicken.
Five.
5. That might be my number 1. It's so versatile.
Interesting. My
You
wife
can eat it by
hates it.
itself, throw it in a chicken noodle soup, pull it
That's
apart,
a good
chicken
idea.
salad, chicken sandwich, barbecue chicken. You don't have to cook it. That's the main part. I guess everything else on here you're ordering as well, most likely. But
Yeah, but okay, so you're putting barbecue sauce on the rotisserie chicken.
yeah, it's barbecue chicken now.
Holy smokes. See, bro, I feel like you just changed my life. So, okay, let's go on to the next.
Chicken
What
parmesan.
what numbers do I have left? I think I got two and four
You've
left,
used
right?
1, 3, and 5.
Okay, that's what I
Chicken parm.
picked. Two and four left. All right, I'm gonna go on chicken parm. I'm gonna go four.
Okay, chicken parm. It's kind of a one way street right there, but does come
Yeah,
with the pasta, the sauce. It's not as versatile as the others, but
yeah. And so at my
number
number
5.
two, I'm gonna be happy either way.
I think you're going to be happy. Chicken tenders.
Number two,
Number
perfect.
2. Yep. All right.
Okay. Boy, you talk about something just working out.
Well done. Well done for the blind ranking. All right, into the important conversations here.
Yeah.
Sponsorships. Now, this came up because I, I guess it doesn't need to matter why it started to come up and piqued my interest to talk about it. So I want to go back to old school days when Matt Mullins, he knows a lot of the Duncan crew and
Yeah.
wanted to be on the Duncan crew,
Fair.
I assume,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
That
sir.
was your hopes and dreams?
Of course. Who didn't want to be Duncan Crew back in the day? Pre 2013, Steve Brown left a legacy there, built something there, and left it to Rinka, and Rinka just ran the tar out of it for years.
Now, and when you were on Duncan crew, I would say that was probably, I don't know this section.
I wasn't on Duncan, but I was
No.
definitely wanted to be.
No, when you were on Duncan Crew, though, it wasn't quite like sponsorship today. Was
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
like a full paid gig? You're traveling, going to shows, going to assemblies.
Well, Duncan, you got to keep in mind, Duncan got so big. No, it wasn't like that at all. It wasn't like that at all. You got product. A couple guys got paid, right? A couple of your top guys.
Okay, let's just say Takeshi. Is he getting paid?
No. Well, unless he went to, unless he would go to like to a trade show, or
And he
something
would
along
get
those
paid to
lines.
host an event, but
Right. And
that wasn't his
Takeshi,
full-time gig to go and do assemblies and everything.
no,
Okay.
I don't believe so. Like the top, like there was guys that Flambeau would employ, like the crew leader, or
Yeah.
and they would be like a head of marketing or something along those lines. And
Managing this team.
I'm speaking primarily of what I know of Bojack's old position of when he got hired by Duncan.
Okay.
When he took over Duncan Crew, he was a head of marketing. Uh, and he worked for Flambeau. And I man, it's been so many years, but I know like Takeshi would get paid major gigs. He would go to like toy fairs and things along those lines. And then of course when the Disney partnership opened, which I was very fortunate to be friends with Bojack during the time, and he was a big push behind Disney and Flambeau combining, having actual stores in the parks. They would have like a kiosk type thing. Bojack actually huge into that, made that
Okay.
happen, and then physically opened the first one in Orlando.
Okay.
So yeah, it's of course it's been different with every time, but of course they would pay people to do the big gigs. But when that happened in Disney, they brought people in like Sebi, Brian Jardine, and Sean Perez, who Jardine actually runs Duncan now. He's the Duncan crew leader now, and he's the guy who runs marketing and stuff for Flambeau. So the guy behind the new freehand ones and stuff like that, he did all that. They actually came over to this country to live in a one bedroom apartment in Orlando to work for Duncan when the
Okay.
kiosk started. So, and I think that's something that we're going to talk about today with sponsorships in general is it's all about giving. And no matter who you talk about in these greatest sponsorship issues, they are usually the givers, right? Providing um, what am I trying to think? Quality for the brands to build them up. Be a good representative to the brand.
Okay. But it was still mostly product back then. Did they have contracts?
No, I mean, no,
Okay. So even the official crew, no contract still.
no.
Just hey, can you go to Vegas for this trade show? Here's
Yeah.
your flight, your stay, and here's
Yeah. Duncan,
$500. Okay.
Augie, so when okay, so 2013 happened. I mean, 2013 happened. Duncan crew disassembles. Duncan cuts everybody, disassembles, hires Bryden Jardine to run the crew. I don't know if it happened immediately or whatever, but when that happened, they wanted their whole team to be more competitive. Does that make, I mean, I know that makes sense to you. They wanted competitive based players only.
Yeah. So instead of entertainers, they were looking to have contest placing.
Yes.
I mean, it stinks because there's legends on that crew, but I understand thinking possibly, hey,
Oh,
let's just reset. We're changing everything over. The easiest way to do this is just reset, flip it all. Everybody's off instead of managing two teams where you have a legacy team of entertainers, and then you also are trying to build a competition team. Um, and especially as being Duncan is a small portion of a big business, so the big business is the one probably pushing these ideas. Um,
well, and I know I'm kind of going everywhere, but so what you talked about pay gigs, Seth Peterson went on the 80th anniversary tour. He got paid for that. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
Seth Peterson did a lot of stuff behind the scenes for Duncan, filming and stuff like that. And I'm sure he got paid for that or a product.
I mean, we're diving deep into a Duncan issue where I wanted to hit sponsorship overall to kind of explain it a little easier.
Sure.
Um,
I think I went way too deep. I'm so sorry.
no, it's okay. It's interesting to me because it's stuff that I don't know. From being around them. Um, but so like as a sponsored player, I was sponsored, had a signature string, sponsored by Hamstring. Both those items were, listen, I'm not a great player. The reason I got these is because I was putting out content.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
and it's just basically they're buying advertising with free product. for that sponsorship. And I feel good. I'm getting free string. I have something to call my own and kind of promote indirectly.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but like when there was no contracts on that. They basically they would send me both of them would send me a set of string each month from the different times I was on the hamstringer um, toxic and nothing involved. And then it just I don't even remember like anything being said when either of them stopped. Maybe hamstring stopped making string, and maybe the same thing for toxic, or I started making yo-yos, and then it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't really know what happened. I think that both just stopped making strings. Um, but then that leads a little bit into G2 and our first set of sponsorships. Um, and I don't even think there was specific requests on these contracts.
You
Uh,
had contracts.
there was basically an agreement. We're gonna
Yeah.
cover your contest fees, um, and maybe we expect you to use G2s at contests. And it was very bare bones, something just like that.
That's
Um,
pretty fair.
just it lays out an agreement. It's also very hard to do because you're usually talking with kids. Most of the guys that we sponsored though were right around that 18-year-old, just um Brandon Hodges, Drew White, Ryan Johnson still with us today. There was nothing with Ryan. It was just he was putting out a couple videos a year or something, and um then ended up helping and turning into basically the art director for G2 currently,
Yeah.
without being a official job. It's kind of freelance, but he does it all for me. Um, but I also wouldn't say that was a great way for sponsorship. And I'm not the perfect one to talk about this. I don't have a big team. I have a handful of guys. And I'll talk about how we currently run and what other operations happen out there. So like Matt, there's nothing that says anything. Matt can say I'm done with G2 and go be Duncan Crew tomorrow. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to compete. He doesn't have to promote. But for the most part, if you're not posting content or doing anything to help yourself or the brand grow, you don't get product when it comes out. Um, so you kind of just
Screw
if
yourself.
yeah, if you want to yo-yo this month and post out some videos, you'll probably get some product the next time the a new item comes around. Um, but also I have all adults on the team currently, and it kind of makes it chill. How do you see it on your side for that?
I don't see it as, I don't know, because I feel like all of my stuff is way natural. Like I'm hanging out with friends and uh I'm on the hype train with them. You know what I mean? I don't know what's coming out. I don't Me and you have very little communication about what's coming out, what direction yo-yos are coming out, anything like that. And I don't expect that of you because I like to be surprised when, you know what I mean? I get
Yeah.
messages all the time going, "Hey, you got any updates on, or do you have any idea what's coming out today?" No, I sure do not. I don't know, but I'm hyped with you, brother, and I hope you get it. You know what I mean? That's
Um,
so I just feel like it comes natural. I'm
do
hanging out
you
with my friends.
do you like that or you don't like it? So, um, at one point I had a player on the team, and then they thought they weren't on the team for too long. They thought they'd be more involved with like designing yo-yos and prepping the release, which I don't know if I accidentally led them that way. Or not, but they wanted to be more involved on the back end. And I'm just getting to that point that I'm allowing others to help, that I've got to the point where I can't manage it all myself. So I'm kind of figuring out where to let other people in to help. Um,
I don't see any benefit of me designing your yo-yos.
outside of the agent series, which is the signatures for players on the team, they have, I would say like, because then even then it's a collaboration. They're not really watching me design the yo-yo. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
They're kind of just saying what size they want, a shape, what they want it to play like, feel like, and then I'm kind of designing it, showing it to them, and if they like it, we'll get a prototype made.
Yeah,
Um, so there's still not a ton of like signature yo-yos are not really fully designed by the player. For the most part, a player will, if it plays how they are hoping it plays, are pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
If you want to design yo-yos and you deserve a signature yo-yo, you probably make your own brand.
Well, but there's a lot more that comes with that, and you know that as well. So, but
Yeah.
it's and that goes also back into sponsorship, building your brand, and that's something that you've preached to me since the beginning. I came in, I wanted to be on Team G2 because I hoped we'd be a good match, and I feel like we
To be
are. I hope
determined.
we, huh?
To be determined.
Well, yeah, it's still early. It is still early. And that's what's beautiful about it. Uh, you can't just come in and expect everything.
Oh, well,
How it works. You have to build.
let's you wanted to be on the team. You thought you deserved to be on the team much sooner, correct?
Does anybody deserve anything?
Well, let's
No.
you were putting out a lot of content. And what I
Yeah.
see often is a lot of content and effort until somebody gets sponsored. And then that was their goal. And if that was their goal, it doesn't end up being a good sponsorship. If your goal
Right.
is to get sponsored, that's not usually good
Find
for
tomorrow.
whoever's doing the
Find
sponsoring because
tomorrow.
then you kind of stop doing what you were doing to get you sponsored because you already reached your goal.
Right.
So I told Matt, keep doing what you're doing, I'll take care of you. And
Yeah. No,
and
well,
that was kind of what I left it at. But at that time, Matt was putting out more content than the entire G2 team. So that's why I'm saying you probably felt like you should have or could have been on the
I
team.
didn't know the G2 team either. That's another thing. I didn't know the G2 team.
And that
And
happens
then,
without having content made. And when I don't make anybody make content.
which I mean, dude, like, it's so different with G2, and there's just different ways to bring value to each other that are just naturally uplifting that the yo-yos, we don't have to worry about the yo-yos is because we trust you that you're going to make good products. And for 12 years, you haven't let us down.
Now,
So,
on the products, another odd point. You guys don't get stuff early. Um,
no, we don't. I
and
don't,
and I
once again, that's a tough thing to expect from you.
But everybody else, it's the opposite, right? Everybody gets like unless I need feedback for a specific yo-yo, the whole like then I'll ask for it or whatever.
Right,
Every other brand, the team's getting the yo-yo first to hype it up,
right,
to promote it. And G2's in a weird spot that I don't necessarily need that. I might need it if I had tripled the run size or something, but I'm already at almost pretty much max capacity of what I can assemble, test, and release.
right.
So I'm kind of finding that middle ground of I don't want to overhype something that's coming because I don't have enough, I guess, for everybody. Uh,
Right.
Over time, the releases roll out, but that's what I can handle on a week-to-week basis. But you guys don't get early access, which I think that could or should probably change so you have an idea before a release. It just gets to a point where I know Matt wants something blue, and if I'm not releasing something blue to start, Matt's gonna have to wait a little bit,
And Matt waits.
and that might not be the best from my side. But it's kind of it's laid out. Everybody understands that when you're with G2. Um, Maybe we should jump into what we think other sponsorships are a little bit different.
Well, yeah, of course, they're all over the board. You know,
Dan would be a perfect person to talk to this too,
right. But
especially since we're all over the place on this, just having a conversation about it,
right.
going through bullet points. This is not your podcast, how to get sponsored.
No, well, this ain't that, is it?
No.
No.
Other sponsorships and oftentimes are focused a little more around competition or completely almost like I would, what TikTokers, influencers.
Yeah.
Um, and you're probably going to be underage, and it makes things weird to expect a 14-year-old to do these deliverables for you, and then you're sending them product.
Well, does a 14-year-old are they even able to have Discord?
Yeah, I think it's 12 or 13.
Oh wow, that's way too young.
Um, but that's where what the sponsorship becomes hard there, right? Because that
Yeah,
player wants to be sponsored. They just want free yo-yos. They're yo-yoing anyways. They want you to cover their contest fee and give them free yo-yos.
yeah,
And it's like, what's the fair value there now? Because now I'm expecting this kid to promote my brand, and I'm giving them, a couple $100 a quarter between two yo-yos and a contest covering.
right.
Um, so that's where I kind of just stopped. It makes me feel I don't like it. Um, and then I don't like managing it. So I don't know what the best way to do that is. Um, but for the most part, sponsorships, you have a contract with your sponsor, if it's a whoever it is, and you're probably going to get contest fees and some yo-yos.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
going to tell you what to use on stage, which is what you're most of the time, if you're getting sponsored, they want you to promote a product on stage and they're hoping you win with it or place with it, correct?
Yeah, it's stuff you should be playing with anyway.
Yeah, if you're sponsored by somebody, you should be. Yeah. Um, but these are, for the most of the time, they're kids. And they just want to be
Yeah,
sponsored. They don't care by who. They're getting a couple free
right.
videos and if they're getting a contest fee covered and a shirt, right? So
That's
that's
fair.
where I battle with it internally.
Right.
Now, if you become an influencer or you're on one of the larger brands and you get a signature yo-yo, sometimes that signature yo-yo is just a yo-yo that was coming and they put your name on it and say, "Hey, do you want a signature yo-yo?" You say yes. And they say, "All right, here it is. The yo-yo X, whatever it is." Um, and
Nah,
sometimes you get to have a little sway, but a lot of the I don't want to say a lot.
I don't know how that process goes for
You
most.
get no input other than here, this is your signature yo-yo. We want you to use it and promote it. Uh, you can, do you like this yo-yo? Okay, it's your signature. And
Wow.
you know what I mean? Like the first step is you don't even get to say if you like it. You just do you want a signature. Second step is do you like this yo-yo? You can have a little signature. It'll be your signature. Third step is you get some design, like you want size or specs or it needs to be wider. And then I suppose the next tier is right before you would make your own brand, which is more specs and actual designing a signature.
Sorry, Jake. Go see your mother. Tell her I said hi. Tell her I send my love.
All right, I'll reset that. What do you got for it? Where are you at?
Don't reset nothing, dog. Don't reset nothing. We're in this. No, I mean it's different for everybody. Just like you said. I mean, I didn't know that people just got sent yo-yos and said, now this is your signature. And anyone that I've ever saw, it was a more depth situation.
Who? Like, give me an example then.
The Barracuda, Sebi lived with me when they were protoing the Barracuda. He
Oh,
got the one drop Barracuda in the mail. And when
now,
Augie took,
this was Barracuda was already a yo-yo,
Mhm.
and he was able to say, "I want to change this,"
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is not that in depth, right?
Yeah, it was like a flat rimmed Barracuda. It had like that loadout stylish rim or style rim. Hopefully that makes sense.
But what you're saying is he took a yo-yo, said, "Hey, I'd like some flat rims on this," and they made it his signature. You know what I mean? So that's kind of in that
Yeah.
middle tier. He had some direction, but he wasn't
Yeah.
fully helping design a yo-yo from the ground up for his signature. Um, Now, at that point, did he ask for a signature or did they say, "Hey, do you want a signature?"
He asked for one.
Okay.
So,
So in sponsorship, you got to ask too, right? People say don't
yeah.
ask to get sponsored, ask to get sponsored, and
They
they're
have to know you're interested, right?
all that, and you need to get feedback if you're one doing what they are looking for.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to be sponsored by whoever, Yo-Yo Factory, and you're not doing what they're looking for, whatever that is.
My son. I'm so sorry.
If you ask them, they might just say, "Oh, we're not sponsoring right now," or they might give you some real feedback. But if without asking, it is an open book. These are small companies for the most part. Some of them are larger and have more. Hey, he's throwing off intel.
Yeah, I know he is. I know he is, bro. I know he is. He ain't worried about it at all. No, he's not.
Mm-mm.
So, no, you're right though. I always tell people it's well, I don't know. I'm very fortunate that I reached out to you and you helped me grow. I mean, you were willing to help me grow. And that's what I mean, looking back on it, if I ever got frustrated, it was just because I'm dumb. Because you in the beginning said, I tell you what, I'll help you grow. I'll give instead of giving you yo-yos, I'll give your subscribers yo-yos. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Remember that? So yeah, and it was great. It worked out because thankfully, I mean, I don't know. We could go into depth about who those people are and who they are now in the community, but the first one that I did was to George. I
Bird
love the
22.
plumber George. He's so I don't know. It's just
Well,
thankfully you knew how to handle me.
well, my philosophy is different. I hadn't sponsored people in a while. I don't I'm not in a like I need to adjust how I am right now to grow and to evolve. Um, but for the most part, I didn't need somebody to promote things for me.
Yeah, no, I know
Um,
you didn't.
and so when Matt was kind of asking, I wanted to help him build his brand. And both that's how all sponsorships should be. You should be
Yeah,
getting help to build your personal brand. And then as you grow, if you're repping a brand and enthusiastic about a brand, that brand is also going to grow with you. As long as it's a two-way street, it makes sense. And as
for
long as you're
sure.
not expecting to be a sponsored player for a living. Um,
Yeah,
that's the next thing. Unless you're Gentry, you're not making a great living being a sponsored player there. If you have, you have one of the buy my yo-yo links in your Instagram or whatever, so you're a sponsored player. I don't know if anybody else does it besides like Yo-Yo Factory.
yeah, I think so.
Um, so whenever you buy one from your favorite player's link, they get a percentage of that yo-yo that's sold. So they are actually getting paid. Um, Instead of getting a paycheck to promote, they're getting paid via royalties, well, kind of royalties from a sale. They're only getting paid on the ones that are clicked through their link. So they're ones they're
Right,
more directly responsible for selling.
exactly.
Um, and I don't know
We
how it works
know,
for Gentry in the Shutter. I would assume that he just owns the Shutter lineup at this point, or otherwise he would have made Gentry Stein yo-yos. Um, he probably
probably.
he should have some ownership in Yo-Yo Factory if
I'm sure he
he has a
does.
good agent.
I'm sure he does.
Um, so that's how you're gonna get paid is selling yo-yos, and you're gonna get it's a small number, I'm telling you. So when they're selling a bunch of $20 yo-yos, they got to sell a bunch to pay for dinner. But I don't know of anybody that's actually getting paid to be on a team, and I could just not know this. But you're getting paid to specifically use your link to sell yo-yos. Um, And if you'll have a contract that says you might even have a contract that says you have to have a post every 2 weeks or every week, however they set it up. And then this is what you're going to get in return: a yo-yo every quarter, 3 contests paid, and we expect you to go to 3 contests. Maybe you get something for placing, like a bonus built in there.
Yeah. That, I get it though. I mean, and they're gearing towards the competitive players, so they need to have that kind of stuff in their
Who?
deals. Hmm?
Who?
Yo-Yo Factory.
I would say they have the biggest, broadest audience, and with their program for the direct links, um, it makes sense for them, right? You can get an influencer here that's going to sell yo-yos. You get a contest player. Most of the time, the contest players grow into an influencer, right?
Yeah.
Because you get to a point where you need to do something else too, and you see that
There
you want
can
to
be a
make,
disconnect though. We have seen that as well.
yeah, but it's hard to just go the influencer route without starting competitive or doing both. So I do think that they just hit both, and um, with the ability to set up those links, most will gravitate towards that because they can get paid. Where other sponsorships, you're not really getting paid.
I mean, okay, yeah.
Like that's the and if you're a 16-year-old kid and that's you know what I mean? That's probably your
I
best.
would argue though that yeah, you get $20 a quarter or whatever, but you only get three $40 yo-yos. You know what I mean? And
But they're not a collector. They don't have a functional art
it's not
display in
about
the
being a collector. It's about just a premium yo-yo.
and I don't think that and I think there's different categories for what they actually want, right?
Right.
If you're more of a competitor, it's a tool. You can use anything, and that's why
That's
you're
true.
willing to put your name on. You don't have a lot of input. You put your name on anything,
That's true.
and you get
I
a
won't argue with that.
um. It's just a different. We're in a different life than a lot where they're half our age.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, when I was young, let me spit some game to you youngins. All right. Go to a toy store and pull a yo-yo out and talk to the manager and just do some tricks and say, "Do you want to sell yo-yos now?" And I'm willing to bet you most of them are going to go, "Yeah, we want to sell yo-yos and you can work for a good minimum wage, my friends." And maybe that'll even out. That's how I did it. So,
So you sold yo-yos to buy yo-yos.
yeah, I mean, I walked into a toy store. They had a Pro Fly on the shelf, and I said, y'all interested in making money in yo-yos? Let's do this." And we had a Dunkin' order the next day set up. We were selling freehand zeros, throw monkeys, flying pandas, speed beetles. We were selling them all.
But how does this relate to what we were just talking about between
Nothing.
nothing? Okay.
I'm talking about how you want to make money in yo-yoing. That's how you do it.
I don't think you could do that now. I think that the best way is that direct link in your
That's
stuff.
well, all right. Well, I
But
need to look into that.
the
Yeah.
last section of like sponsorship is if you do get a signature, you probably can get a royalty. Um, it just depends on the brand and if you're moving product. So right now, the agent series, I'm trying to figure out a solution here. I don't really have it right now. Um, so there's no royalties attached to those right now. You get your name on a yo-yo that's associated with G2. Kind of it started as just like a lifetime achievement award. You know,
Right. That's
you
what
went
it is.
longest with the brand, and the guys, Nate's been with me for what, 10 years now. Um,
That's
and
what it is.
the
That's what it's
brand kind
supposed to
of
be.
sells the yo-yo, not necessarily the player in our case. So that's why there's not directly a royalty attached right now. And I talked with Nate because he's setting up his Patreon page about Pilgrim revamp or a version two, and then figuring out a way that we can set up a royalty with it so that he's getting a direct return on his time invested to try and promote a yo-yo. I don't know how that
Fair.
works because G Squared doesn't have yo-yos in stock. So that's where the issue comes. How to figure that out of, what's Nate selling, what's G Squared selling. It's
Yeah.
that's where I'm kind of just trying to figure it out. In the past, we had codes for each player that used on the site. Um, that they would get kickback based on who's using their codes.
That's
Uh,
fair.
I don't know. So we're figuring that out, but royalties are dependent upon the player in contract. Um, and if you have to be real with yourself. Is your name on a yo-yo going to sell it, or is it just because it's the new yo-yo for whatever brand with new specs kind of deal? Um, so it's that back and forth. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do know.
Um, and we know there's some buying power with Matt Mullins with the Pack Storm Goose, right?
That thing is all right. That thing we is that the biggest run of geese you've had? I mean, we're not gonna say the number
No, not of a yo-yo. Um,
of
I
geese.
never would have done that many yo-yos of one color.
Oh, I know you wouldn't have.
So that, I mean, in that sense, it's the biggest we've done of something.
I'm thankful for everybody
But as far as and it also helped turn into a new yo-yo, but what do you mean the biggest run?
of the goose. I mean, how many? What's the? I'll go. We'll just have to go look and see what the largest run.
Of a colorway or a run?
Yeah, of a
Of a yo-yo,
colorway.
we're looking at 300 yo-yos for G squared. I'm not doing a huge volume. I'm doing a decent volume, like as much as I can do. Um,
Are you running more 7075 geese?
I think I rounded up to 100 for the Rawls to be at customs, but I'm not going to release any 7075 geese outside of the extras went to customs like the soy.
The, the customs will be cool. I mean, however many, yeah, that'd be cool. No sponsor. I mean, I don't know. I think you got to find what's important to you and go, but you also got to find what's important to the business. And I mean, that's what I tell people all the time. Well, I mean, you know who I mean, I have so many friends in the community, but when I started first reaching towards sponsorship, I reached out to people like Alex Wiggs and Dabs, and they very much told me, what are you going to provide for Jake? You got to show what value you can bring before and and I think it's,
Hey, Matt's a wild card, so if he's not bringing value,
yeah,
he's yo-yoing in front of strip clubs. That
that's
one
true.
G
I
squared in
have
front of the
done
strip club.
that. Yeah, so that's true. I mean, but everybody does things differently. And you're allowed to, and that's what is beautiful about if you do just want to make content, there's going to be someone out there to consume it and love it, and hopefully that turns into yo-yos for you.
Yeah, if you're making content just to be sponsored, it's probably not
Yeah, that's
gonna
usually
work
not
out
the
because
case though.
you're
I
gonna
don't
get
think.
burnout and you're not
Yeah,
going to like as soon as you're sponsored, then that was your goal. You don't have anywhere else to
right.
go from there. Where players that want to compete and want to win get sponsored along the way, that's the good fit because their goal is to win. Their goal was not to get sponsored. Is it nice to get free yo-yos and your entry fees covered? That's perfect when that's all you're looking for. You know what I mean? You want to win. That's your goal is to win. You're not looking at this as some sort of job. Um, you just want to win, and sponsorship comes along the way to give you a yo-yo to do it with and cover your fees. That is kind of one way to do it because you want to win. The other way is if you like making videos, you like taking pictures, there's a value that you can add to behind a brand,
Absolutely.
and you would like to do it. How to like you want to do it to support a help a brand. Like you have something you can do, a skill that you can do. You're great at editing videos, and you want to edit videos for a brand. That's a good niche there because you're not going to be asked to do anything specific. You're going to get product when you help create the content,
Sure.
edit videos for them, or run a website where it's not real. It's kind of like a bartering system, right? You're on a website and you're getting yo-yos. It's not sponsorship, but we might call it sponsorship in our small niche of the world.
Yeah. I don't know. I do do what feels right. There you go. Boom.
Matt's got to get to work.
No, I'm gravy,
This
bro.
sponsorship video didn't go exactly even close to where I thought it was going to go.
Well, where did you think it was going to go?
I thought we were going to talk about the different types of sponsorship, what you can expect when you're sponsors, and what's expected of you.
Okay, well, what what do you expect of the what should players expect? Is that what you're
Yeah, if players getting sponsored, what should they expect? That's where I was trying to get to.
what
Um,
do you think they should expect?
I think they should have reasonable expectations. Look at that
Okay.
content,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and it's brand by brand basis. Um,
Yeah.
like you said, you don't get yo-yos before the release. You don't know what's coming, and that's a little bit by design, and then just a little bit because I'm a one man shop, and I don't. It's not like, hey, loadout Tuesday. I don't know what's dropping on loadout
That's
Tuesday.
what I'm
Tuesday
saying.
at 8 a.m., guys. So I'm not going to then say, hey, uh, Mike, I'm dropping this load out tonight or in 2 hours. Can you hype it up? I'm not, it's just, or, I'm not going to text Matt at 7 a.m. Matt, which loadout do you think I should drop today? He might like that, but it's not the way my business runs. So, um, you have to find a brand that meshes. Look at that contract, if there's a contract, and see, is it reasonable? Is it fair on both sides? Don't, what do you want to call it? Sponsorship head. Don't give away everything you can do, too much work for a little return. Make sure it's even on both sides. You know how much work you put into your videos and whatever it is. Um, you know what I mean, Matt? Do you get where I'm saying? Like if you're working 20 hours a week on your videos and content and you're signing a contract for a, like you said, $40 yo-yo per month, it's not even out there. Figure out
No, yeah.
different option. Um, unless it's just for the love of the brand or the yo-yo or whatever it is. But
Well,
it,
I was trying to remember you were, I don't know. I feel like you you
look, when
find
I got sponsored for string, I thought I was gonna have string coming out the wazoo. I didn't really think about it. And then I'm like, oh, actually, I'm getting enough string to use. So this is cool.
yeah,
I don't have to put all my effort into promoting this string. Right? You're younger. No, I mean, you're not always younger, but you get this clouded judgment of sponsorship is the coolest thing in the world. And it is. It's cool to rep a brand and
sure.
say you're a sponsored yo-yo player. But also consider the facts of what you're actually going to get in return and think about it a little bit. And is it worth that what you're selling?
I think it's hard to have expectations of a business that you don't know the insides of.
And you're probably not going to, right?
Right. And especially these bigger companies, you're never going to know the inside uh, information, and you're never going to know they, what their next moves are. You don't know.
Maybe they have I don't know. I haven't seen one of their contracts outside of a couple of like mid-tier contracts. Um, and there was some bad contracts leaked of like you get reward points for posts and videos and what's
Nice.
expected of you so many points per month. Then you can turn in points to a yo-yo. Um, but maybe the yo-yo factory contracts with players getting buy your yo-yo links are laid out very well on what they expect, what you're going to get back. And it's at this point very straightforward and helps both parties know what to expect and what they're giving. I don't
Hey,
know how that contract's laid out.
if anything, we can guarantee there's nothing but professionalism going on over there at Yo-Yo Factory.
Across the board, we're most of us don't know what we're doing, myself included.
Yeah, I remember that you just need to be willing this is yo. I hope you want to pursue yo-yoing. I hope you want to be better at yo-yoing or an aspect of capturing the art.
Depends on what you want, right? Why do you want to be sponsored? What
Why did
makes
I
you
want to
think?
be on G2?
I'm just saying, like for sponsorship, when we're talking about what to expect, it's why do you want to be sponsored? Is it to tell your friends you're sponsored, which is a great reason, right?
Sure, sure.
Um,
Being a professional yo-yoer has meant something for 100 years. You go back to Bob Roll, who was original Duncan Crew, 1954. It means something. Being a professional yo-yoer means something. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it's meant something for a long time. Uh, what
now,
the reward is for that, you got to decide.
so you're sponsored, you want to say that gives you professional yo-yoer status.
I would say so. You don't pay for your yo-yos. You pay in other ways.
I will, yeah, I mean,
I get to
I'm
go
not
out
sure
and
where I like
provide
to
for my
be.
family at a job and not have to worry about paying for my yo-yos. I pay for them in other ways,
You're a professional yo-yoer, but like you just said, you're providing for your family at another job.
for sure. Yeah, I would never expect to do this for a living unless I decided I was going to run a company, which would be a complete. crap show.
I mean,
Yeah,
how did you make Mongoose Yo-Yo's LLC?
yeah, right. Strip club videos LLC is what it would be called.
That would probably blow up.
Being a yo-yo company owner, I don't think is what anybody wants. No offense, I love you. I know you'd live in the dream over, but
I mean, it turned into a job, but I get to
yeah.
work for myself. Um,
And customer service is hard. You got to make 150 people happy. And you got to make 150 people happy before you even think about me. And that's where people's expectations need to be is that what are you bringing to the table for real? For real. Because you're selling, I don't know if you muted me right now, but I'm still going. You're selling out yo-yos with or without me, dog.
but
You're
yeah,
you're selling out yo-yos with or without Dan Dietz.
but it's helps the plane go up. I don't want to stay here.
I know, but that's what people need to lower their
You know what I mean? So I
expectations.
don't think don't devalue your value to the brand.
It's not. It's not. It's just being truthful. That's all it is. You don't need a team. Sometimes a brand runs single-handedly and it could through one person. And that's the thing about G2 is that it has ran through you for so long that you've proven you can do it without anyone. Same thing with, I mean, Tyler Severance does the same thing. I mean, I know he doesn't probably, I don't know if he does the quantity that you do. I don't know anything about the inside business. I wouldn't have any expectations going to his team. You see what I'm saying here?
No, I don't. So Tyler has no team.
I don't know. He has
Just
people
his
that he
friends,
pairs on
right?
a regular basis, I would say, using his products.
I don't know. I'm yeah. I don't even know what we talked about today.
I really don't either, bro. It's been a crap show because my son came in here, ripped my curtain down.
Hey,
Okay.
don't be blaming our failures on Matthew.
No, I'm not. I love him. I think he actually enhanced the show, to be honest. No, dude, I think we've had a good episode here. We did talk about, I feel like, what you wanted to talk about. But in my opinion, players should have zero expectations going in. Yeah, Gentry didn't. I Gentry probably didn't get flied to Worlds his first year. Gentry probably didn't get flied to Worlds his second year. Gentry probably had to earn the, you know what I mean? He had to prove that he could move numbers, that he could produce new customers, that he could. There's just things. In our case, it happens naturally because you wake up, the first thing you want to do is go in there and make a dabs joke in general. You know what I mean? And people see that. People see the enthusiasm. They understand that this is a family. So I don't know how other people do it as well because for us, it's just natural. Wake up. What's Dabs doing? What's Wiggs doing? What's Sam doing? Sam's across the world. What's Sam doing? You know what I mean? So just different. It's different with us. Am
You
I
went
still
from what
sponsored?
players should expect when they get sponsored to
Zero.
jokes in Discord to start your day.
Zero. You should expect zero.
Well, you should expect something though, is what I would argue. I sponsorship, like I said, how much are you giving? How much are you doing? How much are you going to get back? Find and make sure it's the right fit yo-yo wise. Don't just do it to get sponsored. Being sponsored is cool, but along your yo-yo journey, the right fit usually will happen. And I mean, nobody that this advice would work to right now is watching at this point.
Sure.
Um, but this was
Yeah,
just this was
they
me and you,
left 45 minutes ago, bro.
dude. Yeah. So today's episode was me and you sitting on the couch,
Yeah.
7:30 a.m. Had a couple beers, and we were just trashing. different sponsorship ideas, mine mostly included. Not really. We just woke up, we had coffee, and we were going to talk sponsorship,
Yeah, dude, this has
ins
been
and
great.
outs, contract wise, and we didn't go that route.
Zero sugar. Did you know that sugar is what makes orange soda good?
So why are you drinking that?
It's disgusting. My son spilled half of it right here on the floor beside me.
Chug yourself some.
Hopefully, hopefully I played that off good. Yeah, he was showing just secrets everywhere. My
Yeah.
bad.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, dog. I
End the
appreciate you. This
podcast
is a,
now.
been another good one, brother.
Sponsorship on three.
Yeah, sponsorship on three. One, two,
On three.
three.
Sponsorship.
Sponsorship. Love you, buddy. Have a good
See
day,
ya.
brother.
You too.